Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, we're going to do the part 2 of how I plan our homeschool year. This video is going to be all about how I choose our curriculum for the next year. Now, if you've been around here for a while, you know what we're using. So I'm really going to be talking about how I pick our unit studies for the year. We are way into unit studies. That is what we've been using. We've been with Gather Around Homeschool. This is our 3rd year with them. It works, and when we find something that works, we stick with it. So this is going to kind of be about that. I'll also touch on Campfire curriculums because we use that as well, and I'll tell you what I do. And it's not rocket science. I don't do anything amazing. I'm just going to share with you what I do and how I pick our units. When it comes to choosing homeschool curriculum, there's so many wonderful things out there. You really have to do your research. You really have to sometimes bring it into your home and see what's going to work for your family to know if that's something that's going to stay around. You have to do that research. And sometimes you won't know it's going to work until you try it. So unit studies might not be your thing, but I still think this video will help you. So once you find something you love, just stick with it. Don't get rid of it. If it's working and your kids are learning and thriving, then stay with it. All right, so the first thing that I like to do when I'm getting ready to plan for the next school year, and I'm always thinking about the next school year, but the one thing I really love to do is to sit and reflect on what worked. What is something that was good about our year? What things went well? That's a great thing to do, is to look at what went well, and then you're going to reflect on some things that may need to change. Our math wasn't working last year, so we changed that. Trying to just fun school. I wanted my son to try that. He didn't enjoy that. And so you don't know until you try, and it's good to sit and reflect on those things. Please bring your kids into that reflection and ask them what they liked. What did they enjoy? How did they feel about the curriculum? What's something that they look forward to the next year? Bring them in as a part of that reflection, because it is their education that you're dealing with. And so you want them to be a part of it. So reflection is my first step. That's the first step. All right. So this is what I do. Now, we use Gather Around. That's our main. And we do pull in Campfire curriculums when my son finds one he wants us to do. So I'm a little obsessed with organizing stuff. And so this is what I did. You don't have to do this. But just in PowerPoint, I went in and I just used some Google images here of the year 1 units from Gather Around. I did the same. I guess I could just take them out of my little planner here. It'd be easier. So I did the same with the year 2 units. And then the year 3 had not came out yet. So I just put the names of them on here. And this is how I kind of keep up with what we've already done. So beside the year 1s, I just put whatever level notebook we use. We used Upper Elementary with North American Birds. That way, if we repeat a unit, then I'll know, yeah, we've already done that. We need to move up a unit. So while this might be quite a little much for some people, this is how I can organize it in my head. And it's also good for my son to look at, like a reference for my son. So just kind of make you a spreadsheet or write it on notebook paper of all the things that you're thinking about for the next year. That way you'll have it all laid out there in front of you. And that's how I choose my units. I've got them all laid out on these spreadsheets. I can make this one cuter, but I'm not worried about it right now. And this year 3 has changed a little bit. So I probably do need to make another one. So I do keep these sheets out when I start to plan. And I also like to have the calendar. So if you watched my part 1 video, you saw this calendar. I told you to print you more than one, and that's why. You're going to use this to help you plan out your weeks and plan out your units. So I like to have a calendar around. Now let me tell you this. Anything that I plan right now, or even over the summer, that is not set in stone. One thing I've learned is you have to be very flexible. You have to be open to things changing, for your child to lose interest. Those things happen. So this was my last year's calendar. I sat down. I was super pumped about it. I planned all this out. I know you can't see it because it's in pencil. I even had it marked up the months and what units we would be using. And that didn't happen. if you've been following Gather Around, there's been lots of things going on. Their barn has burnt. They're preparing to open a place in the United States, which is going to be amazing. They're doing it's like a tour, so they're going to go around and go to conventions. And so there's a lot going on. And so the units have not came out as planned, which is fine. They didn't release as planned, and that's okay. Because we're flexible, we can make it work. And we were fine. We added in some Campfire units. We have stretched out units and made them longer. And it really hasn't affected us because I know that these plans are not set in stone. And that's something you're going to have to be okay with. That it's probably going to change. Write it in pencil and be flexible. So while I have my calendar and I have the best intentions, I do know that this is not the end all be all. It's just there if I want to use it. So I get this out. I get the planning sheets that I made myself. I get my calendar out. And I also, telling you, I'm a little ridiculous. I also write out the units and check them off as I do them too. I mean, it's a little extra. The other thing I've also done is just as I'm thinking about it, because that's just how I am. I'm also thinking about high school. My son's going to be an 8th grader next year. And I'm just kind of thinking about how we're going to make this work because I want to continue to use Gather Around through high school because this way of learning just works for my son. So I've even went and put like U.S. history, what I'm going to use for geography, what would work good for economics, government, biology, all those kind of things. I'm trying to just brainstorm and get a good idea of what is ahead so I can try to plan those things for my son. So any kind of list you can make to kind of just organize your thoughts, that's going to help you out tremendously. So those are just some things that I do just to kind of get myself organized. I jot down anything I'm thinking about. I have my list of units and I kind of just go from there. So this is what we normally do. What I'll do with my son, because I'm a huge supporter of interest-led learning, because that is how children truly learn. I don't care what you say to me. I know that there are times where you have to sit down and you just have to learn. I get it. I went to public school. I know they're going to sit there and they feed me all this stuff. But you know what? I went through preschool all the way to 12th grade. I have a college degree and I don't remember everything that I was taught. And I think that if I was given a chance to have some interest-led learning, I think I would have learned a lot more. Because I can tell you right now, I've learned more as a teacher and a homeschool parent than I ever learned in school. So I am a huge supporter of child-led or interest-led learning. So I always make my son a part of it. He always has a choice in what unit we're going to do. And that makes a big difference because buy-in, if they're interested, they're going to learn. They certainly are. So what I do, now these, I had these laying around. They were used for my thumbnail because we've already done creepy crawlies. But what I like to do, and I don't have all of these in print, so if you don't have them all in print, then disregard this. But what I like to do is kind of lay everything out in front of him. Like, here are your options. Here are the units. Which one do you want to do next? And that is kind of how we choose. Where do you want to start? What are you interested in? That's what I always do. And whatever he's interested in, that's where we go. When we got halfway through with this one, he did not want to do it anymore and we stopped. There is no point in trekking through the last 10 lessons if he's not paying any attention and he doesn't care. So I lay it out for him, almost like a feast or a buffet. I think of it like a buffet, like just a whole table of Gather Round and Campfire curriculum goodness. And you just get to go up to it and you pick what you're interested in. And that's what you get to learn about. And that's exciting for me. And I know he gets excited about it because he gets to choose. So if you don't have the physical copies of the units or whatever curriculum it is, then you could just pull it up online. That is how we ended up doing the military unit from Campfire curriculums. My son has never shown an interest in military, ever, like absolutely ever. And we were getting ready to do a Campfire unit and I said, come over here and let's look at the webpage. And I just pulled up all their products and I scrolled down and he saw that and he's like, I want to learn about the military. That's something I would have never thought to teach about as his parent. I didn't think he was interested, but he was very interested, and he enjoyed that unit, and he learned a lot because he was interested. So offer it up. It doesn't matter what curriculum you're using. If you show your kids and you give them those choices and you're excited about it, they're going to be excited about it. And so that's really how we choose. It's like I said, it's not hard. We have found that we love Gather Round and Campfire, and that's why it's not hard for us. I'm not on the search for history curriculum every year. I'm not looking for another writing curriculum. I'm not looking to change language arts. We are so pleased with Gather Round Homeschool and with Campfire curriculums that we don't need to go anywhere else. And so our hardest decision is what unit we want to do, because we want to do them all and we want to do them right now. And that's just kind of how it is. And that may not be the case for you. You may not be into this like we are, but you can still give your kids some say in what they're learning. It makes a huge, huge difference. So once my son chooses the units, I either print them out or I buy print, and we go from there. And then the work for me is to find read alouds to go with it, videos, activities, make a Pinterest board. I do all that back end stuff while he gets excited about the unit. Now, if you are interested in Gather Round Homeschool, if it's something you already use, let me know down in the comments. You can ask me any questions about it. Like I said, this is our 3rd year using it and we love it. I was thinking about making a video about the differences between the year 1, the year 2, and the year 3 units, because there are some differences and people kind of seem confused and don't know which ones to pick. So if you're interested in something like that, let me know down in the comments and I can show you, like I can pull out some units and show you some of the differences. It's not huge differences, but they are different. They're certainly different. So that's how I pick our units. I offer it up like a buffet and I let him choose and we go from there. And we may write it down, and come August, he may not choose that unit. He may choose something else, and that's all right because our plans are not set in stone. We are very, very flexible. If you have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, let me know. Let me know what your plans are for next year. And as always, thank you so much for watching.